This is Scarlett
And this is Dad.
with a Little Loud Labs. Today we're going to be building Aztec, a two-stage model rocket.
Did you enjoy building Aztec?
Yes, I did.
So what was the hardest part of this build for you?
Aligning the fins. That is really hard.
All right,
Always use a ruler.
there was a lot of fins.
Here's me making my motor mount for the booster.
Oh, which stage of the rocket is the booster?
The first.
Okay. What do they call the second stage of the rocket?
Sustainer.
All right. What are you gluing onto the motor tube there?
Centering rings.
What do you think? What do those do?
I think they hold the motor mount in place.
Yeah, it's like their namesake. They keep it in the center of the other tube, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going back and you're adding extra glue for reinforcement here. Is that necessary?
Yes, they're called fillets. So the motor mount won't come apart, is what that's for.
Okay, yeah. Looks like it maybe sort of increases the surface area that the glue is touching, so it's a stronger bond, maybe?
Yeah, I guess.
All right. What are we doing now?
Here's me putting the coupler on the booster stage.
So what is the coupler going to do for us?
It's going to connect the first stage to the second.
Well, how's it going to do that? Does it go around the outside of the second stage?
No, it goes around the inside.
Okay. So what are we moving on to now?
The second motor mount.
What's different, you think, between the first motor mount for the booster and the second motor mount here for the sustainer?
So the first motor mount actually goes off first, and then when that one goes out, the next one kind of like sparks.
Okay.
So it goes off next. That's why it's called the second stage.
That makes a lot of sense, and that's how the stages work at Ignite. I was getting at here, it looks like you put the centering rings on a different spot on the tube. So one's on the end, but the other one was like almost in the middle there.
Well, that's because the coupler has to fit down there, because that's what connects the first stage to the second stage.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, it looks like here you're putting a little bit of an edge on that front centering ring. That should help it slide into the engine tube pretty easy later. What's going on here, though?
That is just a preview of what it's going to look like, possibly what it's going to look like when it's flying around in the air.
Are you playing around with explosives?
Maybe. Here is me installing the motor mount into the main body tube. Here is me marking the places for the fins on the booster.
What are you using to know where the fin should go?
A template. Now we are going to extend the lines on the booster for the fins. Now we are sanding the coupler so in dry fitting the booster into main body tube. And here I am marking the places for my fins with a piece of angled aluminum. And now we are going to sand the fins.
So is there a specific way that you're sanding these fins?
Yeah, I'm trying to make them more aerodynamic.
Okay, how are you going to accomplish that?
I'm making them with the tip of a triangle.
Is it important to have both sides of the fin the same?
I think so, yeah, pretty much.
I wonder what would happen if they weren't the same.
I don't know. So my estimation would be it would not fly straight and it would fly straight into the ground.
Well, hopefully it wouldn't fly straight into the ground, but I agree it probably wouldn't fly straight. What's the next step we're on to now?
So it looks like we're super gluing the fins onto the main body tube.
Yeah, and the super glue can be brittle, but it does dry fast, so it makes it a lot easier to sort of line up the fins and not have to use a jig.
Next, we're going to apply fillets of wood glue and let them dry so we can do the other side. Now we are measuring for the launch lug.
What are you going to use to hold the launch lug on?
Wood glue.
So, for our new listeners, what even is the launch lug? What does it do?
It holds it on the launch pole.
Is it important that that's held on straight?
Yes, very. Because otherwise your rocket won't fly straight. Because if that isn't straight, your rocket isn't straight.
So here, Scarlett's going to apply some sanding sealer. Why would you do that?
To make the balsa fin stronger and smoother.
Okay, because balsa is a pretty soft wood, right?
Yeah, it's very easy to break.
And sometimes rockets can come down relatively quickly on the fins, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever had a fin of a rocket break?
I've had a rocket break, but I don't think a fin break.
I think we've had some bury themselves in dirt and get a little dinged up, though, right?
Yeah. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Apollo.
Apollo who?
Apologies for the loud rocket launch.
Oh, dear.
Here we are tying the shock cord to a piece of the nose cone.
What does the shock cord do?
It holds it together during recovery.
Okay, what are we going to use for a recovery for this rocket?
A streamer. This rocket is light enough that we can use a streamer. It does the same thing as the parachute does. The parachute slows it down more though. Here we are masking the fins to get ready for paint.
What's the masking tape going to do for us when we take it to spray paint?
It's going to keep the fins the balsa wood color that we want them. And then we did have to clean them up a bit with an expo knife, but that's because otherwise if we didn't take those pieces off, they would keep the tube white, and we wanted it to be a color, not just white.
All right, that's a pretty cool looking paint job. What were you going for there?
I was going for more of like a shooting star look.
Okay. It looks like now we're masking off the body tube. What are we going to paint the fins?
We're gonna paint them like color shift green.
Okay. What are we doing here?
We're super gluing the bottom of the nose cone to the top of the nose cone.
All right. I think this might be the last build step. What are you cutting out from the instructions there?
We cut out I think the piece that holds the shock cord in the body tube.
Yep. So you fold it up inside of that paper, and then you glue the paper to anchor it into the rocket body.
Yeah. And now, here is a good view of the metallic green color shift paint that we used to do the fins. Hope you enjoyed.
That's pretty snazzy. Now, one thing you have to watch out for there is to make sure that it's out of the way of the nose cone.
Yeah.
So the nose cone can fit all the way in.
Yeah. That's it for today from A Little Loud Labs. We hope you have enjoyed building Aztec from Custom Rocket Company. Tune in next time to see it take flight. Bye for now.